Hey, I'm your host, Carl. In this episode, we'll uncover the chilling story of tens of sacrificed children in Peru, explore how ancient fingerprints reveal surprising details about life in a sunken ancient Egyptian city, and rewrite history with the discovery of the oldest known alphabet. Let's get into it. Recent excavations at Pampa La Cruz in northwestern Peru have uncovered a burial mound containing the remains of 76 sacrificed children and 2 adults, all dating back 700 years. This find, tied to the Chimú civilization, reveals a harrowing chapter of ritualistic sacrifice in ancient Andean societies. The Chimú, a powerful culture thriving from the 12th to the 15th centuries, were known for their advanced agricultural techniques, stunning textiles, and religious ceremonies. However, discoveries like this expose the darker facets of their rituals, offering fresh insights into their beliefs and practices. All 76 children found in the mound had undergone a brutal ritual. Their chests were cut open, likely to extract their hearts. This practice, researchers suggest, was a spiritual offering to energize the infertile land. Interestingly, the victims were not Chimú locals, but possibly Lambayeque, a neighboring culture known for their exceptional metalwork and distinctive cranial modifications. Evidence of this comes from isotopic analysis of the children's remains and their elongated skulls, a practice far more pronounced in the Lambayeque culture. The burial mound, stretching over 60 meters, contained fascinating artifacts, including copper and silver squares that might have adorned the children's clothing, ear ornaments, and spondylus shells, highly prized items in the ancient Andes, symbolizing fertility and abundance. These shells could only be found farther north in Lambayeque territory, which reinforces the theory of the victims' origins. This is not the first instance of child sacrifices discovered at Pampa La Cruz. A similar find in 2022 also revealed 76 child victims. The large number of victims suggests centralized control over these rituals. The sacrifices were likely orchestrated by the Chimú government rather than local communities, possibly to consolidate power and reinforce agricultural expansion into less fertile lands. The Chimú's agricultural ambitions were grand. They built complex irrigation systems to transform areas that didn't naturally grow crops well into productive farmland. The children, possibly enslaved individuals brought from conquered territories, may have participated in constructing these systems before being sacrificed as an ultimate offering to secure the land's fertility. This discovery raises profound questions about the extent of Chimú governance and their integration of conquered peoples into ritualistic practices. Excavations will now expand into Chan, the Chimú capital, to uncover more about the administrative and religious systems underpinning these sacrifices. While their practices may seem alien and grim, they provide a window into the Chimú worldview. Gabriel Prieto, leading the excavation, notes that these findings go beyond the act of sacrifice, revealing layers of cultural and political complexity that defined the Chimú. A groundbreaking study of fingerprints on terracotta figurines from the ancient port city of Thonis-Heracleion, Egypt, reveals a diverse workforce that included men, women, and children. This research, led by Leonie Hoff of the University of Oxford, uses advanced reflectance transformation imaging technology to analyze the impressions left on these artifacts by their makers in late and Ptolemaic Egypt. Thonis-Heracleion, once a bustling hub of trade and culture, was submerged and forgotten for centuries until its rediscovery in the 1990s. Among the amazing finds recovered were 60 terracotta figurines, 9 of which retained remarkably well-preserved fingerprints. These figurines, crafted from Nile silt and finer clays, depict a blend of Egyptian and Greek influences, reflecting the city's role as a crossroads of civilizations. Using rich density analysis, Hoff identified the age and sex of the figurine makers. The study found that both males and females contributed to figurine production, with women playing a more prominent role in crafting Egyptian figurines than Greek imports. Children's fingerprints were also discovered, indicating their involvement in tasks such as pressing clay into molds, a role suited to their smaller hands. Adults, likely supervisors, performed the more delicate tasks, such as assembling and finishing the figurines. The findings highlight intriguing differences between Egyptian and Greek workshops. Egyptian figurine making often paired supervisors and apprentices of similar ages. In contrast, Greek practices typically matched young apprentices with much older mentors, hinting at a more hierarchical system of training. While these figurines were likely used in religious and domestic rituals, the study also illuminates the lives of ordinary craftspeople in ancient Egypt. The involvement of children suggests that figurine production was a family or community effort. This research bridges the gap between the figurines as artifacts of worship and as tangible traces of the individuals who lived, worked, and created in the ancient world. Archaeologists have discovered what may be the earliest known alphabetic writing in human history, etched onto small clay cylinders in a tomb in Syria. Unearthed by a team from Johns Hopkins University, the writing dates back to around 2400 BC, predating other known alphabetic systems by approximately 500 years. This groundbreaking find is rewriting the history of the alphabet and shedding new light on early urban civilizations in the Near East. The clay cylinders were found during a 16-year excavation at Tell Umm-el Marra, an early Bronze Age site in western Syria. The site was a thriving medium-sized urban center and served as a focal point for trade and culture in the region. Inside a well-preserved tomb containing 6 skeletons, jewelry, pottery, and weapons, 4 lightly baked clay cylinders were also found. These artifacts, no longer than a finger, bore what appears to be alphabetic inscriptions. Each cylinder was perforated, suggesting they were once tethered to other objects, like pottery vessels, potentially serving as labels. The purpose of the inscriptions remains speculative, but researchers propose they might indicate ownership, origin, or contents. Until now, scholars believed the alphabet was invented in or around Egypt sometime after 1900 BC. This new discovery challenges that timeline, placing the invention of alphabetic writing in a different geographic and cultural context. It shows that experimentation with this revolutionary communication system occurred much earlier than we imagined, according to Glenn Schwartz, the lead archaeologist. Using carbon-14 dating techniques, researchers confirmed the ages of the tombs, the artifacts, and the writing. Unlike pictographic and syllabic systems, alphabets simplify communication by reducing the number of symbols required to represent language. This innovation democratized literacy, making it possible for non-elite individuals to engage with written records. The implications of this discovery stretch beyond linguistics, hinting at the social and cultural transformations occurring in early urban centers like Tell Umm-el Marra. The script remains undeciphered, leaving its exact meaning a mystery. Its discovery raises more questions than it answers. Could similar inscriptions be hidden in other Bronze Age sites across the Near East? And what role did Tell Umm-el Marra play in shaping early writing systems? Future excavations and comparative studies of artifacts from Egypt, Mesopotamia, and Syria may hold the key to unraveling the origins of the alphabet and its profound impact on human civilization. And that's all I've got for you today. See you next time.